The Emotional Brain by Joseph LeDoux is constantly used in conversations about emotion, fear, and of course, the brain. But it's also widely misunderstood. It's not a self help book. It's more, well, stay tuned. Let's talk.
This is going to be interesting. Okay.
It will be, yes. So I just finished reading this one a little while ago. Welcome back, guys, Books, Banter, and Beyond. And today we are jumping into a book review of a book I just finished, The Emotional Brain by Joseph LeDoux. And the title reads off as it would be a self-help type of thing, but in reality, it is far from what that is. The book argues emotion and conscious feeling are not the same thing. So, to give you a quick little rundown without giving away too much fun, stuff there, he writes the difference between what we do physically, what the brain's purpose is in terms of with motion, with doing, with basically it makes sure everything's working before you have to think about it. So your heart pumps, your muscles contract, your legs move. And he discusses the difference between that and the idea of emotion. Emotion is not a thing, it's not something that you need to do for survival. It's a part of the brain that is a whole different aspect. So the entire book separates basically conscious feeling to thought. And I definitely would say if you guys can find the book, go pick it up. It's a great book, and I'll say more about it as we go. So he draws on decades of neuroscience and shows that the emotional responses, especially those related to fear, are triggered without your awareness. And his most famous contribution is identifying two neural pathways. The first one being the fast automatic route, which is the thalamus to the amygdala, and a slower route that involves cortical processing. So basically, it's kind of the fight or flight and the thought afterwards. So when you think about if something is coming at you, you automatically duck. That's not you learning, that's your brain saying, oops, that's not good. And it does it before you even realize. And that's what I love about this book. I learned so much about the fact that your brain is more automatic, more computer than you realize because it's actually working seconds before you do the
Are you
thing.
are you saying it's reactive or
It is reactive in terms of realizing that if something is about to happen that is probably harmful, it is telling you to do something to avoid
right?
that contact.
Okay.
Ledoux emphasizes that the brain evolved these systems for survival, as I said, not reflection. So emotion is something that happens before you think. So,
I know that makes sense. Have you ever walked into a room and felt uncomfortable and you don't really know why?
this is exactly what it is. So it's basically what he's saying is your brain is wired for survival, but not just the survival of obviousness. It's the survival of those, like you said, the little things that you don't know why, but the brain does. And a fun little fact I learned in the book, even though we have the two parts, the left and the right side, they actually can't talk to each other fully. So when you do something with like your left side, it doesn't know why, other than the fact that it goes, okay, the right side said something, so we're going to do it because that's why. So it's a very interesting idea that even though the brain is one whole organ, it's actually two separate pieces by itself. So, first couple questions. Does this change how we think about how we quote unquote control emotions?
Well, it
And
sounds
is
like
it
we don't. It sounds like we don't control emotions.
well, that's the crux of the question, and then also, is it unsettling to realize that you really don't control those? So I think, and it's a question we'll keep in the back of my mind and kinda keep it here because I think these questions epitomize what the book does. So what does the book not say, and what is it usually misidentified for? So a common oversimplification about the book is that the amygdala controls everything, and that's the main part. Truth is, that's not the case. LeDoux is careful to say that the amygdala is part of the network, but not the actual lead of the entire thing. He also does not argue that humans are slaves to emotion, only that emotional responses originate outside of
Wow.
your intention.
Wow.
So if you think about it, it's a very, again, people look at this and go, oh, this is a self help. How do I feel better? No, this is not. This is a how does your brain work? But also, we don't know how it fully works. And he is admitting that we don't know, all these processes. The book is descriptive, not prescriptive, as a lot of people will say. It explains how emotions work, not how you go about making them more suitable.
But if you read the book, even though it's not prescriptive, but if you read the book, does it give you ideas and thoughts?
I will say by the end of it, it gave me more of the idea, not so much of what to do, but kind of what to look for while you're doing it. So when you are doing something and you realize you reacted to something or you did something, it now makes me go, could that have been the emotional side or could that have been the
Interesting.
analytical side? So it does get you to stop for a minute to kind of
It also helps.
retrospect.
It also helps
Um,
understanding. It also helps understanding of mental health a little bit more, right?
That and neuroscience too, because one of the questions that, does the complexity of it make it harder or easier to accept? And I think it makes it a little easier if you take it to the crux of it. If you don't look at all the science words and all that stuff, if you look at the fact where he's just saying your brain is doing something that you don't realize, it's just a general thought to keep in mind and go,
Right.
wow, that's an
Right.
amazing.
Right.
So, lastly, why does the book still matter after all this time? So, this was published in 96 and it helped reshape how scientists and psychologists understand things such as emotion, trauma, fear, all that. And it influenced multiple things from PTSD to behavioral theory. So, keep in mind anything from the severe to just the kind of slightly interest, in it. Um, and it shows that emotional learning can occur without conscious memory. However, neuroscience has moved toward more distributed models, and LeDoux himself supports in later works. But the book's lasting value lies in one specific thing. We don't think our way into emotions, we think our way around them.
Huh.
And it remains essential to understand why rational thought can't be the only thing that actually triggers what you do.
So
So,
interesting. So
so really what we've been learning is kind of, not fully there because what we usually are taught is, hey, your rational thought is what you focus on, but in reality, you do need to keep in mind that your emotion works hand in hand with your physical actions.
very interesting. So uh, if we don't choose the emotions,
Yes.
we're not choosing them, and they just simply it's around it, or as you said. Um, are we not responsible then for however we react?
I think that's what it would sound like, but I don't think he's going that direction at all. I think he's saying as much as emotion is kind of its own free thing, you still have to obviously connect the dots together. And if you do have a feeling or you do have an emotion or you do have a whatever,
Right.
you should know that it is part of your being, I guess, you're
Right.
doing, so it is still your responsibility as to what you do. You just
Right.
have to know how to kind of work it out. It's a really good book. If you guys can find it,
Hey,
it's
well,
on
this is the
audio,
first.
it's on
Yeah,
paperback.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm actually. This is the first time that I'm thinking. I think I need to read a little bit more about this particular guy. Hey guys, you want to check out the next chapter? Bookstore.shop. Lots of books in there. It's an online bookstore. You don't even actually leave your house if you don't want to. They'll ship the books right to you. They're gently used. Lots of different categories. Do you have any philosophy books in there?
We do have one from the Dalai Lama, actually,
Ooh.
on Being, I think is what it's called. I read that one as well, also a good book. And he looks at it from the Buddhist perspective as
Yeah.
well. But again, it's also a book about what it means to be, you in a world full of
Yeah. Absolutely.
many different things.
Absolutely. Well, as we say every week, we love that you're here with us. If you have a topic you want us to talk about, please let us know in the comments, and we will see you next week. Goodbye, everyone.